All right, if you're traveling over the next week, here are some areas that might be an issue for us. First, if you're flying, Orlando and Tampa. On Friday, there look to be a lot of thunderstorms over the I-4 corridor with lightning. We might see some ground stops or some brief delays as a result of this. Still on Friday, but continuing into Saturday, New York airports and as well up around Boston. If you've got connections or are leaving out of these areas, we might have some weather delays or issues as a result. Now, after that, several days before I see potential delays, it was then around Wednesday for the Dallas-Fort Worth area due to thunderstorms and adverse weather. That slides down to Houston airports on Thursday. So for the next week, keeping those in mind for flight disruptions. Now, if you're headed out on ships, we're actually looking really well and calm in the Gulf of Mexico, in the Caribbean. Although very, very rainy still in the Bahamas, especially Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. If you're trying to book outdoor excursions, you might get rained out or might want to look at plan Bs. After that, it improves quite a bit in the Bahamas. And the only swell we're seeing are around the Carolinas down to around Jacksonville and Florida the next few days. And then on the lee side, or that eastern side of the islands down there around Puerto Rico, so the Virgin Islands, the Lesser Antilles. The Atlantic and the North Sea, that has my biggest attention in the days ahead. And this is that time of year when transatlantics do get started. So if you've got one coming up over the next 7 to 10 days due to Philippe, Rena, and as well some big low pressures coming out of Greenland, Iceland, and then sliding over to the UK. This has got the entire Atlantic churned up with an average of around 3 meter seas or 9 feet. But there are places where it's more like 7 and 8. And I would not be surprised if ships are making adjustments due to those situations out there on the transatlantics over the next week, week and a half. But the Med has been absolutely calm and lovely for the western side. Greece, that's the last thing I'm watching. Still very, very stormy. We've had a lot of severe weather and flooding, and that looks to continue with another 2 or 3 systems lined up. And that's a look at the next week and some concerns that I have for just any of the disruptions you might encounter. I'll see you next week with another look at your travel weather forecast.